it's never ending. You start another day that feels the same. Is it always gonna be this way? And you feel like running, 'cause it feels like all you've ever wanted is fading with each day. If you could only wait another moment with me, 'cause I only ever wanted you to stay, and I can't imagine you leaving, watching you walk away. I was never enough for you to leave on. I'd give anything up if you could hold on and wait another moment with me.
Hey guys, and welcome to Ozzie Reviews. Today I'm checking out the Anschutz model 1780 in 308 Winchester. Now let's take a look at what comes with the rifle. First of all, you've got the user manual here, which is actually on a CD nowadays. They've done away with the old paper or book manuals. A few accessories here. We've got sling attachments. So naturally they'd come with the rifle because the 1700 series is part of Anschutz's hunting line. So a lot of people would naturally want to use a sling. I've got a couple of tools here. This first one is a Allen key takedown tool. Now you use this to actually remove the rifle from the stock. There's also another little Allen key here, which is used to do the trigger adjustments. And there's a Anschutz placard, which just tells you a little bit about the Anschutz family. It's in English and also in German. And finally, there's a little Anschutz lock. Now, as you can see here in the top right of the screen, the actual carry case you're looking at is standard. That comes standard with the rifle when you buy the 1780. So it's a hard plastic case, and it's got the soft material inside to protect the rifle during transport or just general storage. So this lock here actually goes through one of the little holes there on the carry handle just to keep it all secure. So I thought that was really a neat feature because how often do we buy a rifle and then we've got to buy an additional carry case? So I was really impressed with that, and not only that, it's a very good quality carry case too. So that was a really nice feature. Okay, so let's move this out of the way, and what I'll do is I'll go into a little bit more detail, show you the rifle, and get into a couple of specs about it. So as you can see here, just nice finish to the rifle. Immediately it just strikes you as a high-end European quality rifle, and that it certainly is. So this is the standard German walnut stock. Now very similar to the 1770 that I've got. As you can see, it's curved at the back, just comes down the comb just to a beautiful rubber kick pad. So I'll just give you a run by now so you can just see in a little bit more detail. It's just a beautiful finish to the rifle. The stock is just very nicely done, and the rifle for that matter. There's a lot of thought gone into it, and as you can see, German engineering at its best once again. So with the stock, I actually chose this one. You've got a few different options. You can get the thumb hole stock. There's also the DKL, which has like the higher cheek piece, and then also the just a straight standard stock. But I like this German walnut stock because it's got that slightly curved comb at the back, and also you've got a Bavarian style cheek piece here, and that's pretty much identical to the 1770 rifle that I've got. And why I chose it is because honestly, if you haven't picked one of these up and brought it up to your shoulder, it's just so comfortable to point. It really is such a nice, comfortable feel to the stock and the overall rifle. So let's have a talk about some of the specs of it now. The barrel itself is 22 inches or 56 centimeters. It's completely free floating, and Anschutz have also finished it with a rust proofing. So that's very handy as well. You can see here we've got high vis sights. So at the back you've got green sights, and then at the front you've got the red high vis sight. So when I first picked this rifle up, obviously before I mounted the scope, I actually looked through the high vis sights because I didn't expect them to be really impressive, but straight away the combination just attracted my eye straight to the target. It just zeroed straight in. So really impressive it was. So if you get the chance, go to your local gun shop and have a look at one of these. If they haven't got one, they can get one in, I'm sure. And you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. The open sights too, before I move on, being Anschutz, are fully adjustable for windage and elevation too. So overall the rifle is 43 inches or 109 centimetres in length. It weighs 7 pounds or approximately 3.2 kilo. So look, it's not a massive bench rest style rifle, that's really heavy. In saying that, nor is it a featherweight rifle that's really light either. It's just a nice overall balanced rifle. Now the magazine is actually a 5-shot magazine. Just here on the trigger guard at the front, it's a bit different. They've got a mag release there. So you just push that forward and out comes the magazine. So it's a double stack magazine. It's metal, and then it's just plastic at the bottom with the Anschutz logo. Now what I like about it is when you're loading it, you don't have to put the rear of the cartridge at the front and then slide it down to the rear. You just put it over the top and just push it straight down. It just clicks straight in, just the same as if you're loading an AR mag. So as you can see, it pretty much sits flush, just protrudes out a little bit, but certainly doesn't get in the way in any way, shape or form. So let me have a talk about the trigger. It's a fully adjustable single stage trigger, and you can adjust it from 1.3 pounds right up to 4 pounds. So that's 600 grams up to 1800 grams approximately. From the factory they set it at 2.5 pounds or 1200 grams. So most people will find that more than adequate. But if you do want to adjust it, you certainly can. The other feature too is, I'll bring it up to the camera. If you actually have a look there where I'm pointing at the little Allen screw. Now if you remove that or loosen it off, you can actually adjust the trigger blade. It's fully adjustable, so you can move it forward or back. So some of you might be thinking, well, what's the point of that? Well, think about if you're shooting in cold environments and you've got gloves on. Well, obviously your trigger fingers are going to be a lot thicker. So you can manipulate this and adjust it to a comfortable setting. So I thought that was a unique feature too. Now the bolt here, as you've seen on the 1770 review, it's pretty much the same, very hefty. You've got 6 locking lugs at the front there. So once this bolt is closed, it's certainly not going anywhere. The one thing I would have liked to have seen, which I prefer on the Anschutz 1770 as opposed to the 1780, is it came standard on the 1770 with a oversized bolt knob. Me personally, I really like that, so I'll probably end up swapping this one out with one of the oversized bolt knobs, but that's just a personal preference. Most of you guys might not have any dramas with it, but just a personal preference for me. So with the bolt, I'll put it in. As you can see, it's definitely not loaded, no rounds anywhere near the rifle. So when it pushes in, the first thing that you notice is just how silky smooth it is. So once again, the same as what I did with the 1770, single finger, just glides straight through that action. You've got the same 60-degree lift as what you've got with the 1770, so really nice for fast follow-up shots, and just overall just a very smooth action. Now the firing pin also has a defined end stop to prevent damage from dry firing, so dry fire in the 1780, you're not going to run into any dramas at all. So I'll just do that now and you can hear the crisp trigger let off. So yeah, that's just really nice. It's just a great trigger. Also too, another thing worth mentioning is the safety on it. You've got the safety off to the side here. When you actually put it on, okay, you hear that? There's pretty much no noise with it. When you take the safety off, there's hardly any noise. And they've done that on purpose because people who are stalking game, obviously you don't want to spook any game, so that's another little added feature that Anschutz have thought of. As for the receiver, it's a black matte finish. It's a high strength aluminium alloy and it's drilled and tapped for mounts. As you can see here though, I've got a Picatinny rail on top. Now that comes standard with the rifle. It's about 7 inches, almost 7 inches, 175 mil in length. So just a small hole at the front of the receiver here is a gas vent hole. So in the event of cartridge failure, it'll direct the gas safely to the side. So that's a nice safety feature. On top I've put the Schmidt & Bender, as you can see. This is the 1.5 to 6 by 42 optic, ultra clear optic, and just what I want on a hunting configuration like the 1780. Now overall the rifle, look, I'm a massive fan of Anschutz, you guys all know that. That's because they're consistently accurate. Now this rifle's no different. I've already taken it out just to give it a bit of a run-in with a few different factory rounds. And I tell you, I was really impressed. I posted a picture on my Facebook site, on Ozzie Review's Facebook site, about the results. I mean, I shot 4 shots at 200 yards with factory ammo, and it was .75 MOA. And I mean, that's at 6 power. So, you know, it's definitely not a scope for, you know, long distance grouping. It is a hunting scope, but still I shot that accurately with it. And one of the reasons that it shoots accurately is you've actually got a complete aluminium bedding block inside the stock that keeps that receiver in nice and tight. Then you've got the fully floating barrel, so the whole combination just really adds to accuracy. Now the rifle, look, it doesn't have to be used as a hunting rifle. If you like to just go out to the range and have a bit of fun, the rifle is just as suited to the bench as what it is hunting. The 1700 series, as I say, is a hunting line, so that's what it's targeted at. But being Anschutz, honestly, I can assure you they are accurate, you know, off the bench just as much as they are off the shoulder. So for the price of these, they're not cheap. They're $2,800 here in Australia, or around about that price. It just depends on where you're located and where your nearest gun shop is. So they're not, you know, extremely cheap, but, you know, a high-end price tag like that, you get the high-end features. Go and have a look at one of these rifles if you're interested, and put it up to your shoulder and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of high-end quality features that go into these Anschutz rifles. So definitely pat the Anschutz guys on the back, the engineers who have designed these, because I absolutely love them. The caliber wise, you can actually get them in other calibers in the 1780 series. Naturally this one's in 308, but you can get 30-06, 8x57 and the 9.3 by 62 Mauser. So you know, if you want some of those bigger game calibers, they're certainly available. So now guys, that's the specs out of the way. Let's get out and start using this rifle, and let me show you what it can do. Okay, so I've got a whole heap of ammunition here that I'm going to run through the Anschutz today. Now the first one here is a Hornady steel match, which is a 155 grain boat tail hollow point. The next one is the Winchester Varmint Special, which is the 130 grain Woodley protected soft point. That's from Winchester, Australia. Next one along is a 150 grain Norsler ballistic tip in the Federal Premium line. And then up from there, the Highland AX, which is a fairly cheap budget ammo, 168 grain hollow point boat tail. Then we go down to the match ammo from Federal Premium, which is loaded with 175 grain Sierra Match King boat tail hollow points. Then we move along to the Fusion, which is a 165 grain. That's also from Federal. And then over to the Barnes Triple Shock, which is a 165 grain projectile in the Federal Premium line. And then finally I'll shoot some of the cheaper Federal stuff, the blue packet, 308, 180 grain soft points. So what I'm going to do is, out at 100 metres there, if I've ranged it with the rangefinder, I'm going to actually put all 8 different ammos through, and we'll shoot probably 3-shot groups, I say, at each target there, and we'll just see which one groups, which one shoots the best. Okay, so the first one we'll shoot is the Hornady steel match, and we'll go for the bottom left dot. Okay, so coming up from that circle, we'll go to the next one up, and this is using the 130 grain Winchester Woodleys. Okay, now 3 shots. got the Norsler ballistic tips. Okay, so now I've got 3 rounds of the Highland. Okay, now we've got the Sierra Match Kings, the 175 grain, so we'll go for, just looking through the optic here, we'll just go for the top right circle and see how we go there. Okay, now we've got 3 shots of the Fusion loaded. Okay, 3 rounds of the Barnes triple shot now. Okay, now 3 shots of the Federal 180 grainers, the blue packet stuff. Okay, so what I've had to do on the targets is actually rewind the tape and then actually write down which hole was where. So, because it got a little bit confusing there with the shots going high and low. So if we take a look here, I've written up against each one of the groups what ammo I was actually using. So down here you can see the Hornady steel match. Then up here is the Highland 168 grain. And then at the top here we've got the ballistic tip, 150 grain. And the Winchester 130 grains. So you can see they've come in quite nice there. I'm actually impressed with both of them. Over on the other side here you got the Fusion 165s at the top. Then coming down Sierra Match Kings 175. And then we've got the Barnes 165s. I was just a bit disappointed with that other shot there. I would have loved it to been cutting hole through hole there. But surprising down here, the PowerShock, the 180s. You know, for a more budget round with the rounds that I've got there, that's actually grouped reasonably well. Now you guys have seen it in other videos that I've done. When I've got this camping bench out and I'm trying to actually shoot off that, there is a little bit of movement in that. It's not like being out at the range where you're on a concrete bench. But anyhow, what I might do is I'll just sight, I'd say, probably the ballistic tips. Let's go with them, the 150s. I'll sight them in, I'll bring them up a bit because they are shooting a bit low. And I'll bring them up on target at 100, and then we'll do some shooting off the shoulder, and we'll use the rifle it was the way it was meant to be used, and that's in hunting situations. What I wanted to show you here, guys, is actually loading the magazine. I know I spoke about it in the intro, but I want to actually show you it in practice here. So as you see, all you do is you just clip them straight down. It's just so easy to load the mag. They click in real nice and snug, double stack. And just really a nice mag, nice design overall. So what I'll do now is just like I did when I did the 1770 review, just leaning up against a tree just as we normally would in a hunting situation.
And I've got some cans out there at 100, so we'll shoot at them and see how we go. So my final thoughts on the Anschutz 1780 and 308. I really like the rifle because it reminds me so much of my 1770. It's just so easy to point and shoot in general. Once I sighted those ballistic tips in, those 150 grainers, anywhere I put these crosshairs, that's where the bullet goes. It's that accurate. So I'm really happy with it. I quite like this mag release feature too, and I'm really quite a fan of the double stack magazine. I wish they had done that on the 223, to be honest. But anyhow, overall, as I say, the only negative that I have, which I mentioned in the intro, was just the bolt knob. I'd like to see an oversized bolt knob on it. That's just my own personal preference. But I mean, that can easily be added at a later time. Overall, the rifle is really high-end quality that you would expect from Anschutz. So if you're looking for a rifle of that caliber, definitely check one of these out because they'd be hard to beat. Anyhow, guys, we'll finish up the review. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.